Hey guys, it's episode 12 of Flow State with Broden and Cody. Today we got a very special guest, up and coming UFC star, Jimmy the Brute Crute. How are you going, Jimmy?
I'm going well, mate. How are you going?
Good, thanks. We touched on a few things today. We touched on your big neck. We touched on hot wings. We even spoke about your UFC fighting career. What else did we get up to, mate?
We talked about a heap of shit. Like as you said, talked about what it takes mentally to chase your goals. We talked about having a big neck. That was probably the most important part. Talked about wrestling my dog and Gordon. We had a big D&M about Gordon Ramsay, which was really
big one.
nice.
That's right. And also how hot Mr. Jimmy the Brute Crute likes his wings. And if you want to find that out, you better click on this motherfucker right here. Like it and share it and look at it on all of those platforms. And we will see you in episode 12 of Flow State. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya. Enjoy.
Jimmy the Brute Crute, JTBC. How you doing, mate?
And I'm all right. I'm doing as well as anyone at the moment, so it's good.
Do you get called JTBC? Because that's what I've been calling you since day one.
I reckon you know what? Every time I do like a podcast or some sort of online media thing, I always come out with a new nickname, so we can just do that.
Yeah, we'll come up with one. We'll make it a goal to come up with one.
I'm sticking with JTBC, taking it back from Van Dam.
When I did Rob's podcast up in Sydney, I came out with the giant dwarf. When I did my first episode of my podcast, I came out with humongous. Or what are those fucking things with the big hands and the big heads? But
Homunculus.
Homunculus, yeah, one of them.
Humongulus is probably funnier, I reckon.
Homunculus.
I hope that carries. I want to hear Joe Rogan calling you homunculus one day.
We can organise it. Bruce Buffer, that'd be better.
Yeah, Brucey Buffer. Yeah, man.
It really gives me a kick to hear Bruce Buffer say Bendigo.
Bendigo.
Yes, I just love it. I'm like, hey, I'm from there.
He doesn't get it right though, does he? Bendigo.
Yeah, he's all over the place with it. Nah, he's Bruce Buffer's the mad guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, you've had a fair bit to do with him in your short career so far.
Yeah, I've met him a few times. He's ripper bloke.
Everyone loves Bruce Buffer and his fashion sense.
He's cooler in person than he is as well, which is
that's possible. Wow, that's amazing.
I see you give out the fist bumps.
I ran into him one night at the casino and he was getting up to no good.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, say no more.
I don't want to do anything to damage Bruce Buffer's career.
That wasn't damaging.
I don't think we're powerful enough.
No, I don't think so.
We'll get there.
So tell me how it all started for you, Jimmy. Like, Bendigo boy, were you getting up to no good and decided to turn it into a job or what?
No, man, quite the opposite. I used to keep out of trouble. Growing up, I knew exactly what I wanted to do and sort of just isolated. I've been doing self-isolation for 10 years now. I literally just trained, work, train, work, since I was a kid, pretty much. So not much of a huge come up story. Just been doing it ever since I can remember.
So did you know that it was going to be UFC, or did you have a different path in mind? Because UFC is reasonably new, I suppose, on the scene as far as a professional sport goes as a career. But did you think, fuck, I want to do maybe boxing or something, and then just kind of move into MMA?
I used to want to be a WWE person when I was a kid, and then the first time I ever seen UFC was when I was 12 years old. The first time I ever saw that, I went into my dad and I'm like, Dad, I figured out what I want to do with my life. I want to be a UFC fighter.
That's awesome.
So yeah, pretty much my old man was pretty into boxing and stuff. He was an amateur boxer, did a heap of martial arts, so he pretty much just knew what it took. And he goes, mate, I will support you to do whatever you want to do, but if you want to do this in particular, you can't half-ass it. You have to do it 100% and leave no stone unturned. So that's what I did.
So you really had to dedicate your life and sacrifice a lot to get to where you are now. because, you know, your early teens, like, you know, turning 18 and all that, you know, most people like me, especially, treat it as a couple of blowout years, you know, just stop playing footy and got on the piss.
I would have been the same. Mate, you can ask all my mates, from when I turned 18 and got my car license to maybe 21 or 22, I'd probably see my mates 3 times a year. We'd all catch up after a fight. Is the only time I'd see them, and then I'd get on the beers with them for a week, and then straight back into it.
Straight back to training. Yeah. Shit.
So like, probably for about 3 or 4 years, I was doing self-isolation pretty much every day.
Yeah, you're used to it, man.
You didn't miss much, mate, because if you ever woke up like on the street with guys blowing cones next to you, you probably did all right to train, you know.
Good old kick on, so.
That's right. Yeah, it's filth.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I suppose that's pretty good to have a clear vision of what you want to do, but also to have that support, you know. Like a lot of people kind of get this mentality that, you know, I can be a fucking rock star, I can be an astronaut, I can do this stuff, but they don't understand the concept of, oh shit, I've got to work for it, where you kind of had that to begin with.
You can do anything, but you have to be prepared to pretty much put everything else on the back burner and focus on what you want to do. Especially something like fighting in the UFC. It's not an easy thing to do. Like, you have to really, there's a lot of work to get there, and there's a lot of work that people don't see. And like, people just see the fights, and people think the fights are hard and the training hard, but it's not even the training and the fights that are hard. The fight's actually the easy part. Going out there and doing what you've focused 12 weeks of just nothing but training, nothing but dieting, nothing but antisocial, just going out there and fighting is actually the easy part. So like, the day-to-day training 3 times a day, twice a day, dieting, not being able to go have a few beers, not being able to go to the pub with your mates, not even being able to see your family is that's probably the tougher part of it than the training and fighting aspect. How do you
cope with that stuff? Like, because obviously you're still in the game, you know, and hopefully you don't get out of the game anytime soon. You've got a lot of cunts to smash. So, so like, how do you cope with that if you've got to spend a lot of that time away? You know, is it all worth this now to have that back later?
Yeah. And the thing is, when you get to the UFC, getting there is hard, but staying there is even harder. So I haven't taken my foot off the accelerator, and I always say to people with anything in life, not even sports or whatever, if you truly want to do something, it shouldn't be hard. Like, it might be physically hard, it might be hard, but if you truly love it and you truly want to do it, you'll find a way to make it enjoyable.
And make it easy.
Way to grind.
Yeah, I notice you are keen on staying in there. You're like, after every fight, you're always calling out or giving a date and a time. I want to be on the Melbourne card in a few months or whatever like that. Is that tactical so that you're sort of keeping your head in that, you're keeping your name in that game, so to speak?
Mate, I would fight every single weekend if they let me.
Yeah,
I would fight anyone that they have on the roster. That's just me though. Like, I'm not for picking and choosing fights. I think I've made that very clear a lot of times in my career.
Yeah.
I'm always going after. Every time we get offered, say if we get offered 3 fights, I'll always take the most challenging opponent on the list. But you know, I'm keen to stay busy. I'm keen to get back in there. You know, if you fight lots, you make more money. You're better off when you retire in 10 years. You know.
It's a great point, man. Yeah, it's as simple as that, isn't it? You just got to keep fighting.
I'm fighting every week anyway, sparring. Sometimes my sparring rounds are harder than the actual fights.
I can imagine, man. I'd love to be a fly on the wall down there with the Dad's Army. That would be fantastic.
What happens? Yeah, people, like, we post a lot and stuff, but what happens behind closed doors? Like, a lot of people don't last in our group.
Like, even when you're mucking around, you post a lot of, you know, it's meant to be funny, but you're going hard even in the funny stuff, like punching the shit out of Ben, and, you know, just that stuff. Just you're laughing, but it's like, what the fuck? Stop doing that to each other, you know. So yeah, I hate to imagine. You
cock punched Ben, didn't you? You just cock punch everyone at
in
once.
The slow mo.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So we're all sitting there, me, Cal, Jake, and Ben. I was standing next to Ben, and they're like, "All right, boys, now take a silly photo." I'm like, I just had like the scene of Jackass running through my head where it fucking Wee Man nut punches Knoxville in the anaconda pit. So I was just like, oh, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, in the ball pit.
The thing went viral. I reckon.
Yes.
Oh, I reckon that video fucking got nearly 6-figure views on it.
and it deserved it, man. It deserved it.
It was classic.
I was shocked, actually. I was like, Jimmy, you piece of shit. How dare you? But I also loved it.
You know what it is? So my open workout in New Zealand, I was going to bring Ben up on stage, but he had other media to do that day. Yeah. But he was going to get me back at the open workout.
The open workout.
Imagine if it fucked you for the next day, like for your actual fight.
Oh, you know what? Probably that nearly has happened to me before. Me and before Melbourne, me and Sam were hitting pads. He didn't actually have pads on. He was just catching them with his hand. And I went forward and he went like that and fucking poked me straight in the eye 2 days before my fight. And it was like really bad. And I had a little bit of a black eye from it.
Actually, yeah, you could see the black eye when you come into the next day, couldn't you? I think, did they comment on it? The commentary or something like that?
Oh, maybe that you're thinking about the stitches under my eye.
Yeah, maybe.
No, that was about a week beforehand. Yeah. That wasn't even sparring. That was wrestling. I just got kneed in the head.
Yeah.
Did you know
that Ben could play the piano? Were you shocked?
That was exactly my question.
Ben, people like Ben went to boarding school and stuff. Like he's a pretty intelligent guy. He's a dumb fuck, but he's smart enough to make you think that he's more stupid than he actually is.
Yeah.
So he's sort of he gets on the Mozart a little bit and just dabbles in it.
He's very good. Like he's technically very good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You just think it's fake looking at him, you know, this MMA fighter, heavyweight MMA fighter, brawler.
Big mullet.
Played a lovely Mozart.
Wraps his knuckles up.
He's a piece. You know what, mate? He's a piece of shit.
Fight him.
I love him. I would fight him. No, I wouldn't. I'd never fight any of my boys.
How do you pick a fight then? Like, you know, you were saying if you get 3 offers, you'd pick the most challenging one. What's the criteria for that? Do you like, are those other guys just pieces of shit until they're ready to fight or what? Like, how do you pick it?
UFC are always pretty good to me. I normally come to, I ask Mick Maynard, who's the matchmaker, I normally ask who they want me to fight. And he goes, oh, who do you want? And I'll go through the rankings and I'll look at where I'm ranked and I'll look at whereabouts everyone else is ranked in the division. And I'll come back to them with 3 names and they'll go, oh, well, who out of those names do you want? And I'll say, well, this guy's the most challenging. I think this guy would be the best for my resume, so let's go after him. When I fought Misha, it was sort of a bit different. They just said, oh, do you want to fight Misha? Because I didn't really give them any names. I just said I wanted a ranked guy. So.
Yeah. And you were close to getting a stoppage on that fight before it all turned around. You were saying to me, Jim, you'd be confident going into a rematch?
I'd bash him in a rematch. I'd fucking kill him. I
like it.
Let's just clarify. It's not an actual planned murder here. This is a competition fight.
I feel like I was just much better everywhere. I just let my emotions get too better of me in that fight. But you know, the ref came up and grabbed me after the fight and he said, you know, if you had to hit him 2 more times, I was going to stop the fight.
Yep.
So I was like 2 more punches away from winning a TKO. So. But you know what? If I had TKO'd him, it would have been the worst thing for me. Because I would have TKO'd him on emotion and then I would have thought, fuck, all I have to do is go in there and fight like that every time and I'm going to beat guys. And it's not the way.
That's a great point, man. So
yeah, I was going to say it's how Goku went Super Saiyan, but it's not how he got to the next level. You know what I mean? He went Super Saiyan that way once, but it took him fucking years to learn. Sorry, just how to go Super Saiyan 5. You know what I'm saying?
Or when they go into Ascended Saiyan and they frigging go all bulked up and they're too slow and they had to refine it. Yeah.
SS3, that's right. They took that shit out. That was crazy.
Yeah, shit, man.
I've been a bit watching Dragon Ball Z, by the way.
Have you watched the new Dragon Ball Super? Yeah.
Nah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting till they all come out because I just want to binge watch.
I watched as many as I could last year, like in English, and then I'm like, fuck, I need more. And I just watched the rest in Japanese, and they're actually more exciting, I found. Like, you got to read a lot.
Yeah, the Japanese voice acting is better.
Yeah, I loved it. It was fucking awesome. But I love Sean Schemmel. But watch the whole thing. Like, just get in.
I'm waiting.
Fucking great.
I love me Dragon Ball Z.
Sorry, Cody.
That's all right. Go on.
Don't
Dragon
mind
Ball
me.
Z podcast. Yeah, have a beer. Bloody oath.
Love it a beer.
I wish I had a beer on me.
You can't have a beer, mate. You got work to do.
Yeah, I do. As soon as this ISO's over, I'm fucking going to Fight Island.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can't
I told
wait.
him. I said, if you do Fight Island, I text my manager. I'm jokingly, well, I was half serious. I was half serious, half joking, but I said, if they have Fight Island and they don't put me on, I'm fucking going to free agency.
You're fired.
Threatening.
I'm joking about the free agency part, but I fucking really want to fight in Fight Island.
What happens on Fight Island?
I don't know. Dana White just said, we secured an island and we're building an arena on there for COVID-19.
Yeah,
It sounds like sex tourism to me.
But it is in a way.
Epstein Island.
It's yeah. So he went out of his own pocket, bought a island, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if it was out of his pocket or WMG or whatever it's called, but yeah, they've got a fucking island and they're building a arena on there.
It's awesome.
So,
Is that
mate,
was that going to be for Khabib and Tony? No.
That was going to be at some native casino, but then ESPN shut them down. They didn't shut them down. They just asked them not to do it. And
Yeah.
you got to keep the bosses happy, sort of thing. So that's what I don't know firsthand, but that's what Dana said. So
Yeah. What's Dana like?
the best. He's better than what he is. Like, I love him. I love his personality on like all his media and stuff. But he's better in person. He's actually like really interesting to talk to, and asks about you. And he's not arrogant. Like, people think he's real arrogant. He's actually a really cool guy.
That's good. I remember watching the Contender series, and we watched it at work. Dana was just raving about you that whole day. That would have been a good feeling.
Yeah,
Come out there.
We caught up with him. We caught up with him after back at the casino. I had a few beers and I was chatting to him, and pretty much he was just saying he was going to really go out of his way to promote, and get the UFC to promote me, and they've stuck by their word. So
that's great, man.
Really
great
cool.
Position to be in. Hey.
Good. Yeah, it's good. Good guy to have in your side.
Yeah,
Did you ever
for sure.
catch that episode of Pawn Kings where Dana went and bought a bunch of swords from Rick?
Oh, yeah. I know. It did come up when I was on a rabbit hole down YouTube one time. I did watch.
Yeah, that's funny shit.
He's a weapon, man. He gets kicked out of casinos all the time because he just bowls so much.
Yeah, I've heard that. I heard he cleans them out. They blacklist him.
He just starts winning too much at casinos and they fucking get rid of him.
Yeah.
He's got it sorted out, mate.
Because he pumps
That's
so
like
large.
That's like Bruce Buffer, man. He every time you see him at an event, after an event, he just fucking bowls deep at casinos.
Cash.
Cleaning up.
That's great.
Mate, he's a weapon.
That's
It's funny because he looks like the kind of guy who should be dealing the fucking cards there, but
He don't see his bow tie on.
it's the 10 of spades.
Yeah. So good, man.
Yeah,
So you're going to fight, you want to fight Misha again for a second time?
Yeah, I'd fight him tomorrow if they offered me Misha Serkinov. But you know what? I have to earn my spot. So Misha beat me. I went away, won a fight. Misha hasn't fought since. So maybe if I have one more fight, I can call him out proper. But I'm just focused on what's in front of me.
You're just taking what comes, whatever comes.
Yeah, if I just focus on fighting Misha and don't focus on the guy I'm fighting next, that'd be stupid of me. So
Yep.
Awesome. If I win one more fight, maybe I won't have to. Maybe I'll be ahead in the rankings. But
Sorry, man, you go.
I said my pride won't probably let me overtake him without fighting him. I want to get that win back to prove that I belong there, sort of thing.
Yep.
When you are preparing for your next fight with your next guy, like you say, you don't focus on the next one after, you focus on them. When you're prepping for that, are you watching videos of those guys? Are you checking out everything they're doing and just working towards catering your style to beat them?
Definitely, man. I do a fair bit of study. I leave the majority of it up to Sam, my head coach. But I get on there maybe once a week and just watch one or two fights and sort of put the pieces together. I never go into a fight expecting them to be the same though. I always go always trying to work on myself, but at the same time, I might throw one or two different things that I think might catch him off guard from what I've seen. But I leave most of the study up to Sam and let him fill in the holes, and then I just do what he says.
It's a thing that I noticed with the Connor Cowboy. I kind of called that, but in reverse, about how, because I just watched all these Cowboy videos, and I'm like, he's going to get him with a left kick to the head, and turns out that's what Connor ended up doing. And it looks like, oh fuck, he's obviously done the same thing. He's just watched and he's used his own shit against him. Yeah,
man. I find I normally learn a fair bit. Like when I was studying Mahal, my last opponent, the way he rips the body really well, and I watched how he ripped to the body, and then I added that into my arsenal. I changed up my body rips, and you know, I was dropping people with body shots just because I was trying to emulate what he does because it works really well for him.
And you fucking dominated that, man.
You were wrestling too, I noticed. Like, sort of, was that a change in style, or is it something you've always done in training? But you seem to be very heavily wrestling orientated, and it was working a treat. You know, just all over it, and the work go. And he was cowering in the cage, you know, and it was, you know, he was just running away from you. I was like, yeah, I'd hate to be there too, man. It's okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Nah, man. I cop a lot of flack for just being too content to fight where my opponents want to fight, and I just thought, fuck that. You know, I had no problem standing there and punching on with him, but I just thought, fuck you, I'm going to take you down and beat the shit out of you because that's where you're weak. So,
it's good.
Yeah, just sort of decided to be a bit selfish and fight the fight I wanted to fight, and it worked out. So, you know, people forget just because I had a bit of sloppy grappling against Nisha, people sort of forget that I grew up. That I've been training jiu-jitsu. I've been training judo since I was a kid. Like,
yeah,
I'm a legitimate black belt in judo, and people and jiu-jitsu. Sorry, and people forget.
You'd have to be one of the youngest jiu-jitsu black belts ever, pretty much at that age of 22 to get your black belt.
When did I get me black belt?
Last year, was it?
You were there, weren't you, Cody?
Yeah, I was there.
Was it last year? Yeah, I reckon it was last year. I reckon I was 22, yeah. No, 23 maybe. I don't know. Fuck, I don't care. Yeah, maybe. I know there's a few freaks over in the States and stuff that are... But, like, I don't know. I really... I brought Daniel Kelly on full-time as a coach, and the judo, like, the linking the grappling to striking to judo, and then obviously my jiu-jitsu, I've been working that with Stewie Molden for years and years and years. So, you know, I felt like this is the first time that I really had a grappling-based game plan, and I knew exactly what to do. And it was MMA. It was an MMA grappling. It wasn't everything separated. This time it just felt natural. I knew exactly what I had to do.
Yeah. So you're sort of taking pieces from each martial art that you're competent in or an expert in, and just putting them all together. MMA grappling. Yeah. It's I hate people. I hate in MMA, especially when people were like, "Or wrestling's better than jiu-jitsu, or jiu-jitsu's better." It's like, no, grappling is the best. Yeah.
Like anything, like if you want to fucking call it judo, if you want to call it jiu-jitsu, if you want to call it wrestling, if you want whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Grappling is the best thing you can do, and whatever works is what you should do.
You got to pull moves out of the different styles, I suppose, as to the circumstance that you're thrown into. If you need to use that from there, you use it.
Yeah. The only difference between any of those things is the rule sets.
Yeah, well, it just seems like
allow punching in the head.
Judo's good for throwing people to the ground really quick and stuff like that. And then when you're on the ground, it's good to have a bit of jiu-jitsu. You know, wrestling's also good for shooting takedowns and stuff like that, or just like you see pressure of Khabib and stuff like that. It's just so impressive to watch. I could watch it all day. People like Khabib and those Dagestan, those Russian wrestlers. Just
amazing, yeah.
Different mindsets, completely savage, all of them. Love watching it.
Yeah, so good.
And I saw a bit of that in your last fight, Jim. Like we were all going, it's just like everyone's wrestling, like everyone's doing that heavy grappling now. It seems to be picking up in the UFC a bit, from what it seems.
Yeah, I was a lot of that the stand-up grappling was influenced by Daniel. Like the way he's the only guy. Judo doesn't work, but Daniel has made it work. And so judo does work, but like the way people train it doesn't actually work. But Daniel's done the best job out of anyone that's ever transitioned from judo to MMA to bastardize it to work in MMA. And, you see a lot of judo guys come in and they get their fucking head kicked in and they get bashed in the clinch because they're used to holding gis and doing all this shit.
Yeah.
So I was sort of lucky there to get Daniel on to work that clinch area, and that's where I bet him. Like I don't care who. If I get on top of someone and I fight a good fight and I perform well, I'm always going to be able to beat them. Like before this fight, anytime. But the one thing I was lacking was that determination. I always had the determination to get them down, but the technique and the connection between getting them down and getting to a good position.
Yeah, so there was a space in between in the transition from standing to in mount or wherever you are on top of them.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what comes next, man. We're all looking forward to it.
Hook kicks.
Yeah, I've seen you kicking the footy with spinning hook kicks.
Spinning hook kicks, mate. I'm going to fucking knock someone out with that.
What do you think's going to happen for you, Jimmy, if in the next, I don't know if I'm poaching a question from you, Cody, but, with the next couple of years of your career, where do you want to see that go?
I just take it one fight at a time, and ideally, like I never. It's weird because when I first started this sport, I never had aspirations of winning a title, or I never wanted to be like the best in the world or whatever. But like the more I get up the ladder, and the more I look at guys around me at the same level, I'm just like, fuck, I can beat these guys. Like, I look at the top level guys, like the top 5. I'm like, fuck, give me 1, 2, 3 years. I'm gonna eat these boys up. So, just take it one fight at a time. I don't want to rush. I'm planning to be in this sport for another 10 years, another 9 years maybe. So,
yep,
we'll get up.
Plenty of time.
Got to crack the top 15, crack the top 10, 5, 4, 3 championship. So I don't know. We'll see how far we can take it. But I would love to see myself with a world title.
That's a fucking great goal, man. And I know it's achievable with your determination, because you just want to get it and you'll fucking do it. And like, even with, the Mishka thing, even after that, immediately you were like, oh, this is what I need. How am I ever going to be the best if I don't lose one time? You know what I mean? I need to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I touched on it earlier in the episode, but like, if I had won that fight, I just would have ingrained so many bad habits. Like, I would have thought, fuck, if I just go on the top of anyone and lay into them, I'll win. I'll do that. Like, it was lucky that I did it against a submission guy and not a big fucking heavy hitter that can put me to sleep with a punch and give me brain damage,
Yeah. That was your first career loss, yeah?
Yeah.
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 That's amazing, because that's the thing is, I don't know a lot of people who have had completely untarnished records, but that's the thing is, you couldn't have one. Like, it'd be impossible to have one and stay as level-headed as you are. I mean, like, you're in this league now doing these things with these guys, but I still see you at the fucking Coles down the road, like the local Coles, just shopping with, people doing your thing. And I reckon that if a world title is in your future and you want it, you'll fucking get it, because you just what you got to do. Being a humble bloke, and also punching motherfuckers' heads in for cash. You know what I mean?
I'm not afraid to work with things. Like, good. I don't expect everything to come overnight, and I know things don't come overnight. So just plant the seed and keep growing it.
It's excellent stuff.
Yeah. So when you did get your black belt in jiu-jitsu, only asking because I was there, and it seemed like it was a pretty emotional sort of thing for you, like a bit of an achievement. It was emotional for a lot of people there that night. Coach Stewie was one of them. It just seemed like, I suppose, is it something that you really, really are proud of, that hits you in the moment when you get that black belt, or what was it?
I don't give a fuck about a black belt or whatever. I've seen 100 black belts. Like, the thing that meant the most about that to me was receiving that of Stewie. Because Stewie's, I've looked up to Stewie since I was 12 years old. Stewie's been one of my, like, the guys I've looked up to, one of the guys I've respected above other people for a long, long time, and I know that he doesn't hand out things like that regularly, and I know that I am like because of what I do and stuff. People expect me to get special treatment, and Stewie doesn't allow that. So, it was really good just because it was like Stewie's way of saying, yeah, I know it's hard to explain. I still get a bit funny about it now, but
yeah.
No, that's gorgeous,
man.
It's
a bit of fabric, but the meaning behind it is
exactly
the fact that I got it from Stewie.
Yeah, that's a great thing too, man. Like that's a special thing and that's the thing is it would be hard to explain because it's between you and him. It's something that you've developed over fucking 10, 12 years, you know what I mean, of working together. And that's like you say, it is a piece of fabric, but every piece of that fabric is something that you earned.
I know I've earned it. So
yeah,
you have, and that's it.
It's just like jiu-jitsu is just so hard. I've been doing it for 2 years, and it's just so fucking challenging every week. It's just like, well, fuck, do I want to? You want to go back, but also you don't because it just hurts.
I get sweaty just watching you guys. Fuck, I'm just sitting here having a beer.
Man, you know what? I never like. There's been days where like I'm so fucked from training that I need help to get out of bed. I need to get Carly to help me get out of bed, but I never don't want to train.
Yeah.
It's like you ask Sam, you ask Stewie, you ask my old man, you ask Daniel. They're the people that go, Jimmy, fucking have a day off. Jimmy, go rest. Jimmy, don't fucking train 3 times today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm fucking stupid with it. I would train until my body falls apart, and I know a lot of people need people around them to get them to training and stuff, but I'm the opposite. I need people around me that will stop me training and tell me to fucking rest.
Yeah. It was one day after training, I think we did like 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon, and I was completely like, I was going to stop by the hospital on the way home just to get a checkup. And you said to me, I'm just going for a few laps of the pool after that training session. I was like, fucking Jesus. I'm going to the hospital, man.
I got a non.
Is that for your rash or for the training?
Both. Thought I'd get both.
I got a non-UFC, non-MMA related question. Look, this is the thing. Cody and I represent two opposite ends of the spectrum here. I'm not a sports dude at all. I'm a music guy. Cody loves a bit of footy, bit of fucking UFC, bit of this stuff, and that's the thing is I'm kind of newly exposed to this kind of stuff, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I started boxing a couple of years ago with the boys just after having a bad time and just needed to get me fucking mental health a bit better, and basically just hated myself, wanted to get punished, and it worked really well. You know what I mean?
Nothing better than heavy bag treatment.
Fuck yeah,
it's the best, bro.
It's a good time, and so actually let's bring it back to that. What do you reckon about something that you would tell a young bloke that might be interested in getting into the game, like someone who thinks, fuck, Jimmy Crute, I want to be like that. How does he get there? Like, does he have to say, sorry, mum, sorry, dad, I'm not going to school anymore. I'm just going to fucking train?
Fuck, this is a question that I could probably answer for about half an hour straight, but
we got time if you got time.
That's what I did. I literally, I'm not going to fucking school. I went and got a real job when I was 16. I went and got a job so I could train, so I could drive to Melbourne, get to Melbourne and train somehow and pay for training and all that. The thing with me is I was going to do that or I was going to die trying, and I was prepared to risk everything and literally had nothing at the end of it if it meant for a chance. And if you're going to do that, I feel like you need to picture yourself how you're going to pick yourself back up if it fucks up. I don't believe in having a backup plan because it just gives you a reason to give up. It doesn't matter. I don't have to go do that extra K tomorrow because I'll just fucking go back to my apprenticeship or whatever. That's me though. Like I got mates that I train with, and I won't mention names, but one of them was apprentice Sparky. I think he's qualified now. And I looked at him and he was training and stuff, and he was doing his apprenticeship, and I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. Like, you're gonna have an apprenticeship and you're gonna have a choice to do this. But like me personally, I just fucking put everything on the back burner. I was gonna do this whether it killed me or not. And if it failed, I was gonna pick myself back up, and then at least I could say that I gave it 100%. Now, I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but if you're gonna do it, you need to admit to yourself that it might not work.
That's fucking scary as shit to me, man.
Get a real job. That's what I tell people. Get a fucking real job.
Get a real job,
and
yeah.
if you're going to listen to me and get a real job because I said that, this sport's not for you, because
that's exactly it.
You're going to be hit with that many adversities doing this sport, whether you do it professionally or just amateur. You're going to be hit with that many adversities that if you're going to not do it because someone said not to do it, well, you're not going to last in it anyway.
You can't be that malleable to other people's whim. You know what I mean? If someone says that you shit and you believe them, then you probably shit.
I remember, maybe year eight, they asked me what I wanted to do. Maybe year 7, I don't know. They said, "Oh, what are you gonna do when you grow up?" And I said, "I'm gonna be a UFC fighter." And they said, "Oh yeah, that's great, but what are you actually going to do?" I said, "I'm going to be a fucking UFC fighter."
And they were like, "Ha ha 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 ha!"
The teachers called my parents in. My teachers called my parents in and said, "Look, we're a bit concerned about Jim. You know, he's not gonna. He says he's going to be a UFC fighter. He won't tell whatever else he wants to do." Dad goes, "Well,
he's going to be a UFC.
We've tried to talk to him about this, and he's going to be a fucking UFC fighter. And
that's right.
If it fails, he's going to pick himself up, and then he'll decide what he wants to do."
That's great. I just can't wait for the world title acceptance speech for all those teachers that called you in. You know what I mean?
I had a few good ones. I had a few really good ones.
Oh, we've lost audio, boys.
No, I've still got it.
Yeah, maybe I've just lost audio. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, I reckon it's just you.
It's just you.
Bloody piece of shit.
Fuck yeah.
Have you still got me?
I've still got you.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. My internet connection is shit. Sorry, what did you say about the teachers? I missed that bit.
I said I had a few really good teachers that were awesome, but like, yeah, I think they were just trying to do their job, and I was saying,
yeah, that's the hard part about that thing. It's a wacky one. But now on to the actual question I wanted to ask you, which I had to go into that one, is that Cody and I at different ends of the spectrum. He's getting me into some things. I'm getting him into some things. But how hot do you like your wings? Because we sit down and we watch you fight. We eat a fucking 3 kilo bucket of wings.
We eat chicken wings and
a couple of beers.
Chicken wings and Crute. I like it. Day.
That's it.
That's fucking awesome. I wish I could just like fight and be there at the same time.
Yeah. No, next time
I love your hot wings.
Next time, if you're in between matches, fucking give us a yell and we'll heat up some wings for you.
In between a round, just Cody and fucking you come into the corner and start feeding me.
In the corner, fucking wings.
Sam's trying to feed me water and you slap it out of his hand.
Fuck that! Have some Frank's hot sauce, you pussy.
I love me hot sauce. I love me hot food.
It's good shit. You ever thought about making your own? I've got some chilies like in a pot that I'm going to grow when they're ready, and I'm going to make my own.
Fruit juice.
Yeah, it'll be fucking sweet. You can get brewed juice. Jesus Christ, you're gonna come in it? What's?
I was gonna do my own beer, but it's fucking shit because you're not allowed to. If you're like an ambassador or anything, I think you have to be. Actually, I think it's 24. It might be 25. You can't be sponsored and advertise for a beer company. But
unless it's Modelo, the official beer of the UFC.
Really? That's shit.
But, yeah. Yeah, no, but like I'm 24 now anyway, so I'd probably be able to do it.
You'd be able to do it. That'd be great. Would you source that locally, being like a Victorian bloke? Would you find somewhere around town, around the area?
My brother does his own brews, so
oh no shit.
I'd probably just get him to do it.
Crute,
are you talking about like a home brew one, or is he a
work? Like a. No, he doesn't sell it or anything, but he does his own brew, so I'll probably do that and make it all.
You'd be able to
official and shit.
You'd be able to drink a beer real quick, Jim, because your neck's so big. Look at that neck.
Did you ever catch the joke we did about you, Jim, in our stand-up show?
Oh, which one? The one about me raping Cody?
Not rape. It was a ball sack in the face.
And putting my ball sack in his face.
Yes, that's the one. There was a line in there that we had to put in about Cody's always talking about how you got a thick ass fuck neck, and I'm like, yeah, like a street shark. He's like, yes. He's like a street shark. It's fucking good.
No, I reckon if I had a normal size neck, I could make middleweight.
Yeah, a lot of your weight's in the neck.
Just got to strip it down.
Big fucking neck.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good neck.
Makes you hard to check out.
Good size.
Do you reckon? Yeah, it's good size. Do you reckon your neck sort of thickened the more sort of grappling and choking that you did? Was it a defense mechanism, or is it just naturally big neck?
I don't know. Like, I think I'm a naturally big boy. It's my dwarfism. I just got like big fucking wide limbs and short everything. So like, it's just short and wide.
Is that why you got that the adult midget or whatever it was?
The giant dwarf or the homunculus.
The giant dwarf. Is that why they gave you that name?
Yeah, fucking short little limbs, big fucking torso, little legs, big head, big hands.
Yeah, it's all making sense.
Just dense.
Density. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
You give the T100, the 808 model, a run for his money. Old Schwarzenegger in T2. The neck thickness.
Yeah,
I reckon he trimmed down for T2. Like Arnie, like fucking in Terminator 2, looked smaller than he did in fucking Conan. I think probably is.
Probably fucking watch those movies and so.
What are you talking about? I got to go, guys. This is bullshit.
Yeah, you're talking about. Broden always brings up Terminator.
I've never watched Terminator.
I'm not a movie guy, man. I don't sit down and watch movies.
I'm not a movie guy either, but I'm definitely a Terminator guy. I love that shit.
I'm an Arnie guy. I love Arnie.
Arnie's fucking great. What a champ.
Got to meet him for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
At the sports expo.
What did he say?
He's like, hey, where are you going?
He
walked past. I was like, hey.
I love how he just got pulled over by the PSOs in Melbourne for like riding a fucking iBike down the street with no helmet and a stogie.
Yeah, he had his like white golf shirt on, smoking.
He didn't think you had to wear helmets.
Yeah, he didn't know you had to. Yeah,
because in the States you don't have to.
And he was the governor at that point, I think. Was he, or is he just finished? He couldn't have been the governor. He wouldn't have been able to leave.
I don't know.
Man. He's a fucking weapon, though.
Don't get me
started
on
next
politics.
Week. We'll get Arnie on next week.
I'll just give him a call for you.
Yeah, give him a buzz. Mate. You're mates with him. You've talked to him before.
Talked to him for 2 seconds. I'll get him.
That's definitely
that's awesome.
It's so weird. Like you have to meet people when you first coming up in the scene, you're like, oh fuck yeah, UFC fighters, blah blah blah, and then you finally get there, and then you meet all these other people, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not famous. Yeah, much more famous than me.
Yeah, there's levels to that shit, eh?
There is levels. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do to mentally prepare yourself for going in there and punching the shit out of someone in front of millions of people on TV? Because it seems like it would take a lot of like mental preparation to just to get over the jitters and the nerves and the fact that people are watching at home.
Yeah, I just I have like a lot of coping mechanisms, but like because I'm always different every time I fight. So like sometimes I'm not even nervous, and sometimes I'm super fucking nervous. My last fight, I'd never been so nervous before a fight in my life. And I think that was because it was the first time coming off a loss. But I'll just get through my head there. Once I get in there, every time once I make the walk out, I'm not nervous. But even when I'm super nervous, I just go, once I'm in there, it's a fight. And if I just say it's a fight and I just have to fight, it just takes all the pressure off. It takes all what if this happens? Because anything can happen. You can slip in a banana peel and get knocked out and like that. So I just sort of like run myself through. I run myself through what I've done to get there. Yeah. And it sort of gives me like belief and some self-confidence because I know what I've been through to get to where I am now. I deserve to be there, sort of thing. And then I try and go to like a pretty dark place in my head. Like I cover it well because I'm always like smiling backstage and I'm fucking having a joke and stuff. But like behind that is like a person that would stab you in the neck and walk off and not even feel anything.
Jesus Christ.
Cold-blooded killer.
I try and get to that place in my head.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
And then that's when the bell rings. That's what I'm like, and then when the bell rings again, the fight's over, and then I go back to me. But
So,
it's sort of like a different person to what I am day to day.
So that'll be $90 each for
insane.
today's therapy session, Jim.
Sorry?
That'll be $90 for today's therapy session.
Yeah, no worries.
But you kind of do have to have that mindset when you're fighting another guy, because who's to say that he doesn't have that mindset? You know, he could be there going, I'm going to have this mindset. I'm going to stab him in the neck and kill him. I'm not going to stop until he dies, you know. So if you don't rise to that level, then, you know, you might have a disadvantage there.
Yeah, and like, yeah, when I fought Misha, I didn't really have that mindset. It sort of was just like, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't anything. I was just like, fuck, I'm just going to go out there and fight. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then when I did nearly finish it, then all of a sudden I got all those rush of feelings, and it wasn't, normally it's like really cold with me. It's like, there's no emotion. But then that particular time, when I had him nearly knocked out, I got this fucking big rush of emotion, which doesn't normally happen to me. And I just like, the fight become bigger than what it actually was. And I wasn't thinking about doing what I had to do. I was just thinking about winning and knocking him out, where normally if I have someone hurt, I'm not even thinking about finishing the fight. I'm just thinking about fucking hitting them until they go out, you know?
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, so mindset's 90% of it.
Yeah.
I can beat people. I have beaten people bigger and stronger than me just because I was more mentally strong than them.
Just kind of psyched them out on how much you wanted it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The fighting, I always say like Tony Ferguson would be the scariest guy to fight, not because he's the most powerful or like the hardest hitting or whatever, but just for the fact that you know you're not going to finish him, and you know the fact that you could be 5 rounds in and he's still trying to kill you.
And he
That's
just
scary.
keeps coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. Fighting someone that can make you exhausted is scarier than fighting a hard knockout artist.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right,
it'd be better to just go to sleep and end it than have to stay there for 25 minutes getting elbowed in the face.
Being exhausted in front of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people is embarrassing. Getting knocked out, people are just like, fuck, you quit. But when you get exhausted and you lose because you're exhausted, that would be embarrassing.
Has anyone ever put you to sleep in training or anything, Jimmy? And is that like a fucking cool trip? Because Cody's explained it to me a couple of times, how it's like going to the moon.
No, I've never been choked out and I've never been knocked out.
It's because of the neck.
I got a good shock exhaustion here. I got knocked out when I was a kid.
Yep.
From a playground. I don't know what happened. I was jumping across the monkey bars and I slammed my head in the monkey bars and no one was around. I just like fucking woke up. I was like, no one was around. I was like, what the fuck? Then when I got home, I spewed everywhere because I was concussed.
People don't believe me, but I can actually laugh myself out. I can laugh at so hard.
Yeah, because you force your laugh out like this. You go,
I just like I laugh and expel so much air that I'm done. And then I wake back up laughing again.
I've made you laugh before and you've gone, fuck, I nearly passed out.
I nearly passed out in my last weight cut.
Yeah,
I got up too quick. Because I was sitting in the sauna, I got up too quick and I was just like, fucking I went to open the door and I just like dropped my hand and I tried to do it again and I just dropped even further.
Oh, fuck.
Damn, and Dad had to help me out. Yeah.
It does feel cool though when you're on the edge, you're just going down.
Oh, it's yucky. But you know, I've never been I've been knocked out when I was a kid from the playground, but I've never been knocked out from sparring, touch wood. I've been dropped.
Faster, mate. You better find some wood.
And I've never been choked out because I just tap before I go to sleep.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people do that. They'd rather tap out than go to sleep. Is that a thing?
You know what?
Except for
against Misha, I wish I'd have just gone to sleep.
Yep.
Next time I get choked in a fight, well, hopefully not next time, but if I ever get put in a choke again, I will go to sleep before I tap.
Why do you say that?
Because then at least you know you fought to the end.
Oh, fair enough. I'm with you.
It's safer to get choked out than to have your arm ripped off or something too.
It looked like a horrible necktie to be in. You know, was it deep? Was it hurting you? You're like, I probably could have hung in there a bit longer watching it back.
Probably could have hung in there a bit longer. Probably could have fought a bit longer on it, but you know, I don't think I was getting out. But
he's a world-class grappler, isn't he?
Yeah, he was the youngest ever judo black belt in Canada.
Yeah, so he's legit.
And he's a high-level black belt.
Yeah.
High-level black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was better.
I'm looking forward to the second round, mate. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Me too, man. Like, hopefully it happens. And that's nothing against Misha, man. Like, Misha's one of the nicest guys I've fought. I had a beer with him after the fight. But you know me, I'm just competitive, and I want to get that win back. And then after that, then we can be best of mates. But at the moment, I just want to fight him.
Yes.
That's a really interesting thing that I always found about MMA and the UFC, and even the sub sort of non-pro kind of dudes, is that they're in there to fucking kill each other, but they're chummy dudes having a good time. There's no malice in there. It's really interesting that a lot of people go, it's cage fighting. I tell you shouldn't be doing that. Except realistically, they're just fucking grown adults, and they're like very interested in exploring each other's skill sets. There seems to not really be a lot of bad blood between people when they fight. And like, did you ever encounter any kind of that, like people just thinking you're just some big dumb fighting bastard instead of an actual sports like person?
A little bit, but I'm pretty good at like talking to them and making them sound stupid for thinking that.
Right.
A lot of oldies and stuff try and make out like it's human cockfighting and stuff, and then I just have like a really civilized conversation with them and turn it around and make them sound like the judgmental assholes.
Well, they are.
But yeah, I go, do you watch boxing? And they go, oh yeah. And I said, well, you know, there's more brain damage in boxing than MMA. You know, there's been more deaths in boxing than MMA. You know, boxers. Every boxer I've met is more arrogant and more of an asshole than any MMA fighter I've ever met. And you know, like I just go on like that, and you know, some of the best people I've ever met in my life do my sport. And it's hard to be arrogant in a sport that you get your head punched in every week if you're too arrogant.
Exactly that. And that's the thing, is a lot of people tend to kind of, I find in society, and as a sense, I suppose, be more judgmental and arrogant when they don't really have the risk of getting their head punched in, because you can't do that to people at work. What's
that Conan quote is, civilized men are more judgmental than savages because they know they can say what they want without getting their head split.
True.
Whatever the quote is.
So I think we get the gist.
I'll just fully cut out.
You go on?
Give me a second.
Oh God.
Breathe it in.
That's all right. We'll carry it. Yeah.
All right. So the Conan quote I was thinking was, "Crush your enemies, hear the lamentation of their women," or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry, I missed you there, boys.
Sorry, I just saw it on Twitter once and I thought it was fucking awesome.
It's actually like Conan O'Brien's quote.
Yeah.
No, it was a big picture of a barbarian, so I was like, oh yeah.
Hey, well, Jimmy Crute, we should probably let you get back to doing some stuff then, I suppose, man.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Jimmy. That was very much appreciated. I know shit's pretty tight with all this coronavirus stuff, but yeah, we appreciate you taking the time. All the listeners appreciate it.
I've never had this much time in my life. I've never had this much free time in my life.
Well, we are happy that you can spend some of it with us, mate. We really appreciate it, especially in the fact that
you guys having me on.
Man, thanks so much, man. And anytime, we'd love to see it do a round 2 next time you got some time and we're all allowed to touch each other, not necessarily because we want to, but because, you know, we can be in the same room.
You can touch that neck.
That's going to be interesting, though. Just really quickly before we go, what's the go? Are they cancelling all fights at the moment because training's obviously off?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to keep as fit as I can in my shed, in my gym shed. Fuck, bro. I don't know. I've told them that if they need someone to fight, I'll fight, but can't spar, can't wrestle, can't use a proper gym, can't do this. But you know what? I'm not one to make excuses. So I've been out doing road work every day. I've been doing bag work every day. I've been lifting weights in my shed. I've been fucking wrestling my dog if I have
wrestling
to.
the dog, yeah.
Been trying to do as much as I can, and I think I'm one of the few guys that have just gone, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to, when the UFC calls, I'm going to be ready no matter what. So
awesome, man.
That's great.
So will we. We'll be ready to watch it. Need a few wings.
Be ready to eat. Mate, next UFC that I'm not fighting on, I'm fucking coming around for some wings and some.
That'd be sick, man.
Sounds good, Jim. We'll cook up some hot wings. We'll test you out. See how hot
Awesome.
I think I'm alright. I used to think I was a real pussy until I got with my missus now, and she's like she thinks someone on her is too hot at nowadays.
Oh no, yeah, one of those.
Just like,
That's great.
now I just feel like a boss, like, getting extra hot, just fucking.
Smash through it. You got to look at it as a challenge, man.
Yeah, no, I'll do it.
Feels good on your face.
Have you seen that? Interview show where they eat the hot wings and they do that?
Yeah.
And they go right up to the hottest thing.
Hot
It's
ones.
the best.
It's fucking hilarious. Gordon Ramsay
So
one's
funny.
very funny. You should watch that.
So fuck me, Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Fuck me, that's hot.
Never heard someone say "fuck me" 16 times in a row.
I love Ramsey, man. It's so funny.
He's the best. You know, he's a massive UFC fan.
Is he? Is he really?
I've seen him in the audience at some events. Yeah.
I love Ramsey.
I
I'd
reckon
be
he
like
could-
Gordon Ramsay when I grow up.
I reckon he can fight too.
Get him
Probably
get
could
him
just stab you with a kitchen
get him
knife.
to do a in the kitchen with the Brute.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
do that.
Get on there. Make the hottest
I'll
fucking.
just have my petrol get his people and then we'll work it out.
Yeah.
Look, that's how this shit happens. We didn't know we were going to be talking to Anthony Koutafidis before, and that just happened. You know.
Nice.
It's one of those things though. If you want something, just set your focus for it, and
Yeah. Exactly.
it's amazing. Well, Jimmy, thanks so much for coming on the show today. We've had a great time. We had a great chat. And thanks everybody else for checking this out. This has been episode 12 of Broden and Cody Flow State with Jimmy the Brute Crute.
All the best,
See you later,
Jimmy. See ya.
Say wise.